Around the early 1800s, a group of European settlers, seeking new opportunities, ventured into the uncharted wilderness of what is now Ohio. Led by the determined Thomas Harris, the group hoped to establish a prosperous farm. They journeyed deep into the forest, but their enthusiasm quickly turned to despair when a sudden storm scattered their supplies and disoriented their path. As days turned into weeks, hunger gnawed at their resolve. With no means to communicate their plight, the settlers found themselves lost, struggling against the elements. One fateful evening, they stumbled upon a small Shawnee village, weary and on the brink of collapse. The villagers, initially cautious, took them in, sharing what little food that they had. Among the Shawnee was a wise elder named Kawehan, who recognized the settlers' desperation. Kawehan was the wise elder of the Shawnee village. He stood at the edge of the forest, watching the horizon, where the last rays of sunlight dipped below the trees.
His heart was heavy with the weight of uncertainty. The arrival of the European settlers had brought both hope and fear, and as he observed their interactions with the village, he felt the stirrings of conflict deep within him. His brother gnawed, a fierce protector of their people, had always warned against trusting the white man. They come with smiles, but carry daggers in their hearts, he would say. They take what isn't theirs and leave destruction in their wake. Kawehan respected gnawed's instincts, shaped by years of watching their land erode under the pressures of encroaching settlers. When the lost group stumbled into their village, Kawehan felt the conflict within. Here were individuals in need, as vulnerable as any within his own people. The storm that had cast them into the wilderness mirrored the turmoil that threatened his tribe. He decided to offer them shelter, but the burden of this choice weighed heavily on him. As the days passed, Kawehan observed the settlers' gratitude turn to dependence. They learned the ways of the land, but Kawehan remained vigilant. He shared stories of his ancestors, teaching them the values of respect and balance. Yet, each evening, he felt gnawed's piercing gaze, a reminder of the danger that loomed. "Gnawed, we cannot turn our backs on those who seek help," Kawehan argued one night. "They could become allies." "They are not our allies. They are strangers driven by greed," gnawed replied. Anger flared in his eyes. "Mark my words, they will bring trouble." When news of new settlers arriving spread around the village, Kawehan's fears were confirmed. Tensions rose, and skirmishes soon erupted. As European settlers funneled in, looking for the missing settlers. When news of new settlers arriving spread through the village, Kawehan's fears were confirmed. Tensions rose, and skirmishes soon erupted. The balance they had tried to create began to unravel, and he felt the weight of his decision pressing down on him. The settlers were becoming restless, their eyes fixed on the land he had always known as home. During a crucial meeting, as he stood before both his people and the settlers, he sensed the fragile line they walked. "We must find a way to coexist," he urged. But doubt clouded the faces before him. He glanced at gnawed, whose expression hardened with resolve. "Coexistence is a lie," gnawed interjected. "They do not understand our ways. They only see what they can take." Kawehan felt torn, caught between the wisdom of patience and the fierce loyalty of his people. In the wake of violence, he knew that they were being pushed to choose sides, and every decision weighed heavily on him. The settlers were not just strangers anymore. They had now become part of a greater conflict. As the skirmishes nearby escalated into full-blown confrontation, Kawehan stood resolute, determined to protect his tribe. He knew that to choose the settlers would mean betrayal, but he also understood that to reject them entirely could lead to the devastation of his people. His heart ached with the realization that trust, once extended, could quickly be shattered. In that moment, as chaos erupted around him, Kawehan vowed to uphold the spirit of his ancestors. He would stand with his people, fighting not for just the land but for the future. Whatever the outcome, he would carry the weight of their choices, guiding his tribe through the storm that had begun to brew on the horizon. He had offered them guidance, teaching them the ways of the forest, how to forage, hunt, and find water. The settlers, in turn, shared their skills in farming and trade, forging an unlikely bond. Over time, Thomas and his group became part of the community, learning the rich traditions and stories of the Shawnee people. However, peace was fragile. As the years passed, more European settlers arrived, drawn by rumors of fertile land. They encroached upon Shawnee territory, their eyes set on the very lands that had sheltered Thomas and his group. Tensions escalated when a group of newcomers clashed with the Shawnee during a hunting expedition, leading to violence that claimed the lives of several tribesmen. Caught in the middle, Thomas faced a harrowing choice. He had come to respect the Shawnee, but his ties to the settlers complicated matters. The Shawnee demanded justice for their fallen kin, while the newcomers saw the tribe as an obstacle to their dreams of expansion. The new settlers urged Thomas to rally the Shawnee, while Kawehan implored him to maintain peace. As skirmishes broke out, Thomas became a reluctant mediator. He organized meetings, attempting to bridge the growing chasm between the two cultures. But as tensions escalated, alliances shifted. Some settlers, desperate and fearful, began to arm themselves, driven by anger in this promise of land. In a pivotal confrontation, the settlers ambushed a group of Shawnee hunters, igniting a battle that would determine the fate of both communities. The tension in the village had reached a boiling point. Thomas, the former settler who had embraced the Shawnee life, found himself in a precarious position. After years of working alongside the tribe, he had earned their respect. But as conflict brewed with the encroaching settlers, the stakes had never been higher. Thomas, torn between his worlds, stood at the forefront, pleading for peace. But the echoes of gunfire and cries of betrayal drowned out his words. What happened next, in the aftermath, left scars on both sides. While some settlers begrudgingly acknowledged their shared humanity with the Shawnee, others sought vengeance. The land that had once promised prosperity now bore witness to the conflict and bloodshed. After many altercations, the settlers returned home back to the east to Fort Pitt. In the end, Thomas chose to stand with the Shawnee. He realized that survival depended on unity, not division. Together, they forged a new alliance, advocating for coexistence amidst the looming threat of more settlers. The once lost settlers found purpose in their new home, determined to protect the land and the people who had saved them. One fateful day, tragedy struck. While on a hunting expedition, Kawehan and Noden were caught in the sudden storm that had become ahead. Seeking shelter, they took refuge in a cave. Unbeknownst to them, the storm caused a rock slide, sealing the entrance. When their absence stretched into days, worry transformed into despair. When the village finally found them, it was too late. The loss of both brothers sent shockwaves through the community. Kawehan had been a wise leader, guiding the tribe with a steady hand, while Noden's fierce spirit had protected them fiercely. With their deaths, the Shawnee were left without their strongest voices at a critical moment. In the wake of their tragedy, the village gathered to mourn. Thomas stood on the periphery, his heart heavy with grief. He had come to respect the brothers as mentors and friends. As he watched the community struggle, he felt an overwhelming urge to help, but he knew the weight of leadership. During the mourning period, the elders convened to discuss the future of their tribe. As they deliberated, many began to see Thomas not as a settler, but as a bridge between two worlds. He had shown unwavering loyalty and had fought alongside them, understanding their ways. In a moment of profound silence, one elder spoke up. "We must honor Kawehan and gnawed by choosing a leader who embodies their spirit. Thomas has proven himself time and time again. He knows our customs, our struggles, and our dreams." After a long discussion, the community reached a consensus. They would offer Thomas the role of chieftain, believing that his unique perspective could guide them through the impending challenges ahead. When the elders approached him, Thomas felt an unexpected weight lift and settle upon his shoulders. "I am honored," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "But I am still learning. I will do my best to honor the legacy of Kawehan and gnawed." As the new chief, Thomas faced immense challenges. The settlers were growing bolder, and skirmishes became increasingly frequent. He worked tirelessly to unite the Shawnee, drawing upon the teachings of Kawehan and the fiery spirit of gnawed to inspire courage. Thomas organized gatherings, encouraging communication between the Shawnee and the settlers. He sought allies among both groups, advocating for peace, but preparing for conflict. He knew, to lead effectively, he needed to earn the trust of both his people and those who had once viewed him with suspicion. In time, Thomas became a symbol of resilience, embodying the strengths of both cultures. He navigated the complexities of leadership with compassion, remembering the wisdom of his brothers who had guided him. Though he carried the title of chief, he understood that true leadership meant listening and learning. Through trials and tribulations, Thomas led the Shawnee with honor, forging a path forward, celebrating their heritage, while adapting to the realities of a changing world. In the heart of the wilderness, he became not just a leader, but a bridge between two worlds, ensuring that the legacy of Kawehan and gnawed would endure in the stories and lives of the tribe that he had come to call family. As the sun set over the vast wilderness, the smoke of the campfires mingled with the fresh scent of the earth. It was a fragile peace, but one that held the promise of a future where both the settlers and the Shawnee could coexist, carving out a life amidst the whispers of the past. Well, thank you guys for checking out this video. And if you like this video and videos like this, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Hit the like button. And share this video with your friends. And as always, remember to get out there and explore. Thanks, guys.